Hi, I'm Lizzy, here with my friend Andrea, and we are your hosts for Letting It Percolate. Just as the best tasting coffee takes time to percolate, life's most interesting and important questions often take time to truly explore. And that's what we're going to be doing here. So welcome. We are so glad you're here. So we know podcasts have become quite popular these days, and we just wanted to jump into the mix. So a little background on our name. Percolation, as some of you may know, is a method for brewing coffee that it's actually quite old. It might be one of the oldest, if not the oldest method for brewing coffee. And it is said to kind of be slow and methodical and remove the impurities in the coffee as it goes through. It was also invented by someone who is both a physicist and a soldier, which represents kind of diverse fields. And so in our podcast, we are wanting it to be a space of like a lot of variety and interesting and thought-provoking and stuff like that. So that's a little background on why we chose that name.
All right. Alongside the name, we had many hopes and goals for the podcast, but we just want to highlight a few so that we're kind of laying a foundation for where we're starting. We want to express that it's okay and good to have questions and to ask them. In fact, not shockingly, we have questions. But part of the goal of this podcast is to explore those questions and also just to acknowledge that there's nothing wrong with having questions and asking them. So that's what we're hoping to do.
Yes. We're really excited to be doing this, and the handful of people in each of our lives that we've talked to who are excited with us, we're excited that they're excited.
We're so excited. Thank you guys.
So, just to give a little, we wanted to share some background on why we, Andrea and I, are making a podcast. So really, Andrea texted me in April?
Yeah, it was a while ago. It was like April or May.
So, throes of the pandemic. And we're both in seasons of life. I was trying to finish grad school. Andrea's doing her thing in West Lafayette.
I think I was on furlough, actually.
Yeah.
I think that's anyhow.
Yeah.
I had way too much time on my hands.
So we both, I should say, had slightly more time than average. And she just texted me like, hey, do you want to do a podcast? And I was like, yeah, I do.
Which was awesome because I was like, I kind of gave her an easy out if I remember. It was kind of like...
It was a very graciously phrased
I don't know about that, but it was kind of like a feel free. This is kind of like out there. Like, I won't be like offended if you say no, but you said yes.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful.
Yeah. And so from there, we had a kind of drawn out process of brainstorming and being kind of methodical about what we want to do here. And so we just fundamentally, we were like, this would be fun. We can have a space to reflect intentionally on these several topics. So with that being said, most of you listening probably might already know us personally. But even on the off chance that someone else listens or, down the line, other people might be listening, we wanted to spend a slight bit of time introducing who each of us are. So we came up with a hopefully fun way of doing that. The direction that I came up with, we each wrote out like a 1-minute introduction of ourselves, and we prepared that separately, and we were thinking maybe that'll elucidate different elements of our personality, what we choose to focus on. And so, yeah, let's dive into it. I'll share my...
I'm so excited. I have been waiting, 4 months for this. I'm so excited to hear this.
So here's my succinct 1-minute intro. So I'm Lizzy. I love sloths and the color gray and music of all sorts. I just got my master's in social work in May and am starting a job as a home-based therapist in Indy. Some things I'm passionate about include connecting with others, learning, writing, and making music, and getting enough sleep because my spirit animal is really a sloth. I love dancing for fun, or basically any sport for fun. I have a handful of gray hairs that I love and cherish, and I'm ready for aging. So for the Myers-Briggs, I'm an ENFJ, and I'm a 2 on the Enneagram. And despite how much I sometimes talk about all of the personality things, I try not to put too much stock in types, air quotes. I do find my ultimate identity in Jesus, and that's my snapshot.
I have, like, multiple follow-up questions. I wish I could have been writing. Do you know your wing?
It's a 1.
2-wing 1.
Yeah.
Okay. I see that.
It's very strong.
But I could also see some 3.
Really? I don't identify with 3 very much.
I'm just kidding. I don't see any 3. Okay, shoot. What else was I going to ask? Oh, well, this was more of a comment, but I think maybe listeners might find this interesting. On the, like, caring about sleep and getting enough sleep. So Lizzy actually has made a spreadsheet, and I don't know how many days are included, but I'm guessing there's, like, at least 100.
Hundreds.
Yeah, hundreds.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of days, and I've seen, like, a portion of this, and she'll track, like, sleep as well as mood over sleep. And at one point, I think I asked if it was normally distributed, and it was, right? When you ran it, which is, I think, really interesting.
Excel nerds. Look out, world.
Yeah, we probably just lost, like, 5 listeners. But yeah, I just love that about you, that you would think to map out on Excel your sleep.
Thanks.
I don't remember the other point.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
So along with the 1 minute parameter for intro, we also have each separately come up with one word to describe each other. So
Drum roll, please.
Andrea, what did you say?
My word for you, Lizzy, is firecracker.
Oh my gosh!
And it's funny, I don't know if you'll remember this, but a few conversations ago, like maybe 3 or so weeks ago, I'm pretty sure you straight up called yourself a firecracker. I'm like
That's
very
hilarious.
confident that you used that exact word.
Oh, wow.
And I like had to hold my mouth shut and not say anything.
I'm a little surprised at myself.
Well, if it wasn't to describe you, it was like to describe something very close to you. I don't remember like the total context, but something that I love about you is you bring so much energy, but it's unexpected. Like, you have no idea. Literally, people who know Lizzy, I think you will like back me up on this. You have no idea when it's gonna come out. I mean, a little bit. Like, there's predictability.
Yeah.
But I love that you just like bring energy that like brings the whole room up a few notches.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just really appreciate that about you.
Well,
You're welcome.
there's also a song by Josh Turner, who's a country singer, modern country singer, and the song is called Firecracker.
Really?
So
I'm surprised I
claim
don't
that
know
song
this.
for myself.
That could be your song. I'm gonna have to look it up. Josh Turner.
So, that's me. Andrea, would you like to share your intro?
I will take the mic. Okay. So I am a 20-something, born and raised in Indiana, a Hoosier. Some people debate as to what exactly a Hoosier is, and I can't give you a good answer, so I'm sorry. Right now, I work in retail, and what I will say about retail is that it pays the bills, and there's some cool people, and I hope that I'm not doing it the rest of my life. But it's good. I've really learned to, I think, just be okay. Just be okay. Sometimes when I'm most in my zone or feel most like myself, watching sports, specifically NFL football, if anyone has ever seen me watch NFL football, I'm sorry. Walks and hikes outdoors, playing piano, writing and reading are all kind of spaces that are my zone. On the Enneagram, for those who that means anything to, I'm a 1-wing 9, which is called the idealist. And something that scares me about doing this podcast is inevitably there are things I'm going to say that are logically inconsistent or driven by pure emotion, which is something that a 1 in particular does not want to be perceived as, even if it's completely true. And sometimes there might just be bold convictions that I share, and there's a level of vulnerability with that, knowing that there's someone on the other side who can see, like, if I'm wrong, they can see it, and just kind of, like, owning that, and I'm, just praying for the humility to be able to take that. So, yeah, that's me
Andrea.
in a little nutshell.
I feel like you covered a lot of ground in your short summary, so that was impressive. And that is actually appropriate for the word I chose for you. The one word, if I had to pick one to describe you, Andrea, I chose layered.
Oh, layered. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So obviously there's a lot of words you could choose when you're only picking one to describe someone, but I chose layered because I feel like, kind of like how you maybe inadvertently touched on in how you did your summary, there's so many aspects to you, which is kind of like true of humans, but also like for you in particular, Andrea, I feel like sometimes you come off to people who may not know you super well as very measured and precise and those kind of things, which are good things. But there's so much more complexity to you that maybe like not everyone sees because you have layers like an onion. And I don't know. I just remember like getting to know you in college, enjoying like, oh, I didn't realize like Andrea was like this, or she has this type of sense of humor. Yeah. So I just think it's like fun. It's like fun plus layered, like because you have interesting. The layers are interesting. So that's my word for you.
Layered. Aw, thank you so much.
Yeah.
My words of affirmation self is feeling affirmed. So that is pretty much what we hope to accomplish with this first episode. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in to letting it percolate. We hope that you connected with what we talked about in today's episode and that your thoughts have been sufficiently percolated. Next time, we'll ask the question, how do hard things change us? And share some personal stories on that topic. We want to just extend a special thanks to a few people, one being my brother Conrad for helping us get the equipment and the software we needed to get this off the ground. Also, a special thanks to Erica for designing our logo. And lastly, just to the family and friends who have been along this rather long journey with us of brainstorming and planning. We're thankful for your support. And with that, we will see you next time.